welcome to the care guide on ghost shrimp. As usual, I will be talking mostly about my personal experience, so details such as natural water parameters will be left in the description below. Also, if you want more kind of statistical information, I've left a link to one of my favorite care guide websites. Alright, so let's get right into it. The ghost shrimp I have found gets to around 2 inches max size, not including the antenna, and that's for the females. However, the males will be slightly shorter at maybe 1 inch or 1.5 inches, again, not including their very long antenna. The appearance of the ghost shrimp, as I'm sure you've guessed, is mostly translucent. Ghost shrimp have a very humped tail. It's very angular, not like a lot of other shrimp like cherry shrimp or mono shrimp. But they do have the typical, long tail with the swimmerettes underneath that they use for gliding across the water. And in front of that are a bunch of legs, all with kind of different roles. They all have a little claw on the end of them, but some are smaller than others. The main claws you can notice by looking at sort of these yellow-red bracelets on them. And if we go up to the antennas, you'll notice that there's one pair that has a yellow and red band on it as well. Speaking of antennas, there are sort of 6. There's kind of 2 long ones that they wave around just in case there's danger. There's the red and yellow ones that they kind of have pointed in above them all the time. And they have 2 smaller clear ones that they have kind of to the side and down. There's a lot of detail in this creature that I could try to explain, but I think the best explanation is just looking at them. Socially, this creature is kind of like the snail. They don't really interact much. They kind of just bump into each other every once in a while. But of course, sometimes they do get together to breed very briefly. And they'll become reclusive when they're molting. So you'll probably see some of your ghost shrimp. If you have like 1 ghost shrimp, you probably won't see it for one day, and then you'll notice like a molted shell floating around the next day. Between them and other creatures, the interaction is not very different. Obviously, if you keep them with very big fish, those fish are going to eat them. And if you breed these shrimp, you want to make sure that you have a very thick covering of plants because the shrimplets are easy targets. So if it wasn't obvious already, these creatures are much more often prey than predator. They're very kind to other creatures and they generally just stay out of their way. In terms of activity level, ghost shrimp are kind of like snails in that they're always kind of picking through things, but they're not really moving around like zebra danios. They don't have anywhere to go. They're fine where they are. But occasionally when they're looking for a mate or, when they don't have enough food or when they're new to the tank, you'll see them swimming around with their swimmerettes, and that's pretty cool. And it's also pretty cool to when you have some thick plant, like if you have a really tight bundle of rotella or guppy grass or something like that, and just sort of seeing the little movements in there, it's very interesting, especially when you can see them like eating a bloodworm and just watching it get digested in their stomach. It's very cool. Again, if it wasn't already obvious, the best environment for ghost shrimp and pretty much all shrimp is a planted tank. In a planted tank, you're going to have opportunity to grow algae on a lot of surfaces. The ghost shrimp are going to be picking at the algae. They're going to be kind of rummaging through the dead plants. There's just a lot of opportunity for them to do grazing, which they really need, especially if you want to breed them. Now, why do I keep talking about breeding ghost shrimp? Like, can't you just have one? In my experience, not really. When you get ghost shrimp, when you get any shrimp, and you put them in the tank, there's kind of going to be that die-off generation. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have males and females on the first generation because they're not going to last very long. That's the generation that's just sort of getting used to the water parameters. After that, the second generation and third generation are just going to get better and better with the water parameters. They're going to actually start to blend in. So for example, my ghost shrimp have been in my 40 gallon for a while. They're probably on like the 6th generation or something like that. And now the shrimp are starting to blend into the gravel. So they're clear, obviously, but now they have sort of a black lining on them so that they blend in even more. And obviously the more used to the tank they are, the more used to the water parameters they are, the longer that they're going to live. And the bigger that they're going to get, thus me hitting the 2-inch mark with them. Alright, that's going to do it for this species spotlight. If you guys enjoyed it and you got some good info, please leave a like. If you want to see more care guides like this or tank updates on my tanks, please subscribe. And if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. I am always free for answering questions.